I get really excited for this firecracker. Not only do I get to have lunch with her tomorrow, I get a little nervous too because I got a meeting right before her with what I'm pretty excited about, Bill Gallagher, and then I got to bring the show with Sandy, and Sandy is no short to anything. She brings it, so I love her energy. So happy she leads us on Tuesdays. Good morning, Sandy. How are you?
Hey, good morning, everybody. So yeah, like I'm telling you, my energy, I don't know what's going on with my energy today, but I'm bringing what I got. I was listening to a book this morning, Awaking the Giant Within, and I had to start taking notes while I was doing my makeup because I was like, geez, like I needed to hear this today. You know how you have those moments. And so I recommend it's an app I use called Headway, FYI, and you can listen to a book in like 10 minutes. It's one of my favorite apps. Absolutely love it. So I try to listen to at least a couple books a day. Gets me out of the Netflixing mode and getting positive stuff into my head. And it's a good way to start your day. So anyways, with that being said, sometimes I think like, and I've been listening, like, I'm wondering how everybody's doing. We're on day 10 with our, let's do this. Just stay on here for 3 more weeks. Brock, you didn't ask us for a whole lot. He said, I just want you to show up. I want you to show up for the next 3 weeks. January is a tough season. It's like we all just got married and had this huge wedding with Christmas. It's such a special holiday for me as a Christian, and for those of us that aren't, even just to get together with people. It's such a huge holiday that sometimes you can experience this cathartic feeling after it's over, like you're exhausted and, oh, what now? And it's like the drones of winter have set in and we're looking forward to spring. There's not really much great. I mean, we've got Valentine's Day, we've got a couple things, but it was like this big, huge event took place. And now we're all trying to find our place. And I think that's where a lot of these New Year's resolutions come in, is we realize that we're feeling this way. And so what a perfect opportunity to set some new goals and find your purpose and ask yourself why. So I hope everybody, I guess that's what I'm asking is how y'all feeling about that. Put a reaction or thumbs up, thumbs down. It's a grind right now. For sure, for me, I feel like on paper, I'm certainly thriving. I am thriving. In my own mind and the season that I'm in, yes, I've taken that word from you, Brock, the season that I'm in, I feel like I am surviving, and I have to remind myself, I literally have to remind myself when I take my breaks throughout the day that, Sandy, you are thriving. Like, look at what you've accomplished. Look at where you are. 2 years ago, you couldn't form a sentence. Like, you are doing things. I thought my career was over. I thought my life was over. My life is so far from over that that's something that, and I have to remind myself that I'm thriving. That tells me like somewhere my mindset needs work. And it never will stop needing work. So if you ever think you're going to get on these calls and make it 20 calls and you're set and good to go and roll on out, God bless you. You will be back. That's just not how we work as humans. That's not how our brains are equipped to work. They're ever changing, ever evolving, and you have to keep filling it with new knowledge. When you stop learning, that's when we lay down, and when we have these mindsets that we feel like we're not necessarily thriving. So it's important to keep learning and keep getting new perspectives. And I was thinking about this thing because I talk a lot about steps and how we can't skip steps, but sometimes I swear to God, I feel like life is like chutes and ladders. I get so far up these steps and bam, I don't know what happens. It's like, I get knocked back down. Now, the great news is I already knew the steps to get where I was, so I can get back them up pretty fast. No time. I'm back up to where I was. This time, though, did I learn? Did I stop? Did I reflect when I fell down that chute of ladders? Did I stop and ask myself, Was it haste? Was it not thinking? What got me in that situation? Because I'm going to get back on that step again. And that's where I don't want to slip and fall off it. So that's where reflecting, resting your mind, giving yourself that time. It's not quitting. I used to always think I was quitting. I'd get knocked down, and I play hard. I love hard. And when I fall hard. And I used to laugh. I'd be like, I'm that dog that you literally have to keep rubbing its nose in the poop, like over and over and over. And then probably by the 15th time I get it, like, nope. And I'm potty trained. I'm not that early adopter. It takes me a while. I got to really get behind it. But once I do, I'm there. So I guess my point to you is never stop giving up on yourself. If you feel like you're in a moment where you're surviving and not thriving, it's a time of really for you to rest, reflect, grow, learn. This is where your mind is telling you, take some extra time, pour into yourself. Where are these feelings coming from? I was looking at like my goals, and my goals are all spawned from what I consider to be my problems or my Achilles heels or my downfalls. My whole life, my parents, your mouth is going to be the death of you. Your mouth. I would be the one that get in trouble when me and my brother would fight. Well, they would say, you're the only one I can hear. We don't hear him. And I'm like, but this isn't fair. He was in there. He was like doing this and this. And this. They're like, well, we hear you. So now it's funny. I feel like my mouth has becoming like my greatest opportunity. Sure, I'm helping to learn tonality and things that we take for granted all over again. But with that comes the gift of knowing the power that I have when I use it. Excuse me. So we'll see if that worked, the whole no bark with some authority. But anyways, back to what we're talking about here. Just preparing yourself to go up those steps. When you get up to the step that maybe you fell down from, asking yourself those questions. There's a giant within every one of us. It's just what makes your giant tick? What awakes that giant? You don't know what you don't know. And what awakes your giant usually comes from what you perceive as your problems, what you perceive as your weaknesses. You start adding a little fuel to that and learning and energy. All of a sudden, you start feeling a little confident. And when we feel confident, we get a little louder. We get a little faster. We run a little harder. And that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. So today I'm sitting here and I'm like, Tuesdays, I think of garbage day. It's usually the day when I haven't had my daughter for the weekend. So I'm missing her. She's going to come home. It's been a long stretch. So this is kind of like my last day to get it all together, chores, whatever I got to do. And it's also a day where I really get to grind it out. I get to think. I need to use this day for me moving forward this year as my admin day. I love going out and about and looking at properties and teaching my residents how to wholesale or whatever it is I'm working on. I like being out and being a butterfly. I also love being home, but I don't like doing accounting. I don't like doing rent roll. I know how to do rent roll. It's pretty simple. It's not that hard, but I know that what comes with it are people who are late. And then what comes with that is I have to go have a conversation. And that conversation with somebody that I've built relationships with, just because that's my business plan and what I do as a job, that's tough for me. So I tend to want to put that off, but then I beat myself up that I'm falling behind on my admin. So Brock made a point, if you're doing a to-do list and you're seeing the same stuff on your to-do list over and over and over, stop writing it down over. You're either going to do it or you're not. And on my to-do list, I have rent roll. It's the 10th. Like this is crazy. Like it needs to get done. I may not like where it's going, but that's part of my growth. That's part of learning to be the best I can be in this new career field that I've chosen. I never missed an expense report every month when I was in medical sales. You can bet I want my credit card paid off so I could recharge it the next month. So why am I lagging now when it's coming to paying my own bills? Because I don't want to have a conversation with somebody. Is that for me to think that they can't get up and get out of the situation they're in? Well, I know that's not true because I've been in a far worse situation than they're in right now. Being broke, being unable to speak. I mean, been there, done that, sitting in AA meetings, been there, done that. Like, it's okay. Your bottom is just your resting point. Stop, rest, reflect. So that person, when I have to go have that conversation, this is what it's going to look like. Hey, we're behind on rent. You understand the thing. We got 2 months to pay this, or unfortunately, the eviction process, whatever it is. However, there are options today. Would you like to sit down and hear about how you can make some money legally wholesaling homes? I've never had anybody say no to me yet. There are ways to get out. There are ways to make money. You just got to get in the right room. That means bringing them to an investors meeting with me once a month in Charlotte, Wednesdays, Hampton Inn, South Park. Come hear how 7-year-olds are buying houses. That's what we're talking about this month. How a 7 and 8-year-old bought their first house. I mean, this life is so full of opportunities, you guys. Like, dang it. It's just, there is no stopping. And it's all in how we frame things. Because me putting off doing rent roll because I don't want to have a conversation is somewhere in my mindset. I'm scared for the person that I have to have that conversation with. I'm scared they can't get out of where they are. Well, that's a lie. And I'm the leader. I'm the one that's proof. I'm proof in the pudding. So going back to that dog, like 10 times, whatever, it's almost like with me, I wanted to find out if buying an apartment complex and improving it and raising rents and doing something good to really improve the value of the building that much. How is that possible? I didn't really believe in forced appreciation. I thought this was a joke. Well, I went and I did it and it worked. And now I find myself saying, okay, well, if it works 3 more times, then I'll know it's really true. See, I'm all about data. I like data. And I think that's the thing too. A lot of people who have been through trauma, which honestly, I believe is all of us on this line right here, but some more severe than others. I feel like our BS detector doesn't work as well when we're getting back into the world and we're picking ourselves up, when we're getting up from that resting mode and that reflecting. We got to climb those steps back up again. Something happens up here. We're not as sharp when it comes to street rules and common sense, and our empathies are running at all-time highs because we're hurt. We were hurt. We're building it back up. As we're building it back up, we're going to run across people who are up here who can seem tricky to us. And that's where sometimes we can get in the weeds and it makes our trip a little bit up those steps a little bit slower. I hope you're hanging with me with all these metaphors and everything. But the point is, you don't have to have any urgency behind your steps. Just take your steps. Don't stop taking your steps. You can take your steps so slow that you can take breaths and rest, but there's no urgency. This life, you only have one shot at it, and tomorrow's not promised. If you're living your day to make yourself happy, you're missing the point. The happiness is in you. I'm thankful to be sitting here talking to you. Like, I know that sounds so strange. Like, my whole goal is to make it to the end of the day and just have a good day. So getting in the weeds over rent rolls and things like that are a reminder to me that I'm no different than any other human. I'm still surviving, even though I'm thriving. I know I'm thriving. Logically, I get it. But we have emotions, and our emotions and our feelings, they aren't always based on facts. I had to learn that through therapy because I feel something, but it's not based on facts. I feel worries about money. I feel worries about, am I lovable? Am I this? Am I that? Of course I am. Of course I am. I know that I had the love of Jesus Christ more than anybody, and I don't ever need any more love than that. Then on top of it, I've got my daughter, my family, my friends, my sweet dog. Of course I am. So that doesn't make the feeling that I have any less. It was kind of like what Chad was talking about when he was talking about his marriage and his wife's problems. And until he figured out that those problems were just as important as his problems, they weren't getting any traction. It's like the Jeep was stuck in the mud. And I know he gets that from South Carolina. Like, we got to get up out of the mud. And that's when we start aligning with the people we're talking to. I know we've all, oh, that's a white person's problem or a rich person's problem or whatever we say about these things. A problem is a problem is a problem to the person that's in it. The people who have the right mindset and who are ready to fight it don't see it as a problem. It's an opportunity, because life is problems. Life is a problem. Every day we are striving for solutions. I was raised with I remember my dad saying, you want to come to me with a problem, you better come to me with a couple ideas on how to fix it. Don't just come and throw stuff on me. What's your idea? And I'm the same way around people that come to me with problems. The first, when you're coming to me, okay, well, what do you think we should do? Let them reflect for that for a minute, because oftentimes you'll find that people come to you with problems that once you quantify it for them, it's not even a problem. It was just something of their own mindset they created. Like, you're like, whoa, dude, that's not even real. Like, come on, that's not really a problem. If we do this and this, we're on track. And usually that person will be like, oh, shoot, you're right. I didn't think about that. Thanks. And then they're on their merry little way. Meanwhile, here, your mind's all triggered up thinking there was a real disaster happening. Those little clips that we get stuck into. And that's why I put my phone on quiet time for 3 hours a day, because for whatever reason, I find a way when I leave this house to go, when I'm talking to people, their problems become my problems. I get home and I'm like laying in bed thinking about, oh my God, like, shoot, I wonder if Sherry ever ended up taking care of that thing. I wonder if Christian, and those are the things, that's what makes us human. That's what gives us our empathy. That's a good thing. But also learning how to have the mindset and the motivation to channel it back to yourself. That's where you start taking your steps again. We can't get stuck on carrying other people's burdens, other people's problems. We can be a light for them by shining our own light the brightest we can. I can't go turn on Brock's light. I can't turn on Chad's light. I can hope by me shining my light as bright as I can and being honest and vulnerable and transparent, that it might trigger something within them to where their light flickers a little. And then whatever it is within them, they run and they start to shine brighter and brighter and brighter. And before you know it, you've got a mute who's leading a podcast. Okay. Like, it's not over till it's over. And just when you think it's over, oh geez, be prepared. Be prepared. You just never, ever know. So I guess, as I always say, I love you. Faith, hope, love. And the greatest of these is love. And I think together, you know what? We get on these calls, we share, we're vulnerable. We talk about the realities that mindset, it's an ever evolving thing. It's not something you do once. It's not something you work on for a season. You're working on it for the rest of your life. If you're not working on it, you're probably laying down feeling sorry for yourself. We all been there, and that's okay. It's time to get up. It's over now. Get up. Get up. So my message overall is, you know what? Keep taking me in those steps. Keep taking those steps. Right now, we are really in that season to set ourselves up for the year. January isn't necessarily the most exciting month. There's not much growing out. It's cold. We tend to be inside a little bit more, so we're around each other. Sometimes that can be a little bit much when you're used to being outside and doing your thing. The environment's different right now, and there's not a lot often we can change about that because of what's going on in the elements, etc. But there is so much we can do within ourselves while we're in this environment. So that's what I encourage you to do, is just pour into yourself, do these podcasts, get on this call every single morning, listen to a book a day, start filling your head with some good stuff in addition to the Yellowstone and the CSIs and whatever shows you're watching. Those are great and those are awesome. And they're a good time for our brain to just not think. But there are also times we need to challenge ourselves to think. We do so well going through the day, checking the boxes of whatever our job holds us to do. But then we never just stop and do that for ourselves. Schedule that time. Do it for yourself. Happy Tuesday, everybody. When this call's over, I'm going to roll out my garbage. I'm going to start rent roll, and we're going to do this. So, Brock, I'll turn it back over to you. And by the way, I cannot wait to hear how your lunch goes with Bill. Like, when you say Bill Gallagher, I'm starstruck. Like, I took my licensing from him 16 years ago when I got my broker's license. And the way he teaches adults by adding humor to his dialogue was such a game changer for me. Being a full-time adult in a career world and trying to get a broker's license on the side on weekends. And back then you had to do like 75 hours and 35, I don't know, all this crazy stuff. But it was very difficult. And the rates of passing the first time in North Carolina on your broker's exam were not that high. I can't remember what they were, but in his class, I remember one of the selling points, oh, it's over 90%. And I was thinking, well, I need all the help I can get because here I am adult trying to figure this out. I don't know what I'm doing, but I wanted to learn how to invest in land is the whole reason I got behind getting my broker's license. Anyways, best thing I ever did. I've followed him all along, all these years, even after his retirement and then coming back. And he's a pleasure to learn from. So anybody who needs CE, I encourage you to check out Superior School of Real Estate. That is something that he actually implemented with all of his teachers. He realized that that was a connect with people, and that did have something to do with the higher passing rate when you went to take the test. When someone tells you something, top priority, take a sip of something, you laugh, but yet as you're writing it down, you'll remember. And that's what it's all about. He talks to you like a friend. He doesn't talk to you like a teacher. And I hope that when I talk to you, I come across as a friend because I truly care. And I'm not trying to teach anybody anything. I know nothing. I'm still a wee one learning. So thanks for letting me chat with y'all. Enjoy lunch. Can't wait to hear about it. And I'll turn it back over to you.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it too. It's kind of like even a little like he's like a celebrity around here. So to be able to have lunch with him and mastermind and listen to him. Yeah, he's been the guru, and I'm just very blessed and fortunate that we were able to carve out some time, and I look to be a sponge on how I can grow and learn. And I'm just blessed that he sees a gift in me that we can continue to grow across Charlotte and across the country with different things. So I'm excited to share that with you. And wow, I took a lot of notes today. And I tried to unpack some of the stuff that you said, and I try to put some of the quote or the chats. Lori said some things on here, Claudia and Chad, and so many different people have put chats in here of bullet points. And my coach and what I've learned is like this 30 minutes, guys, this 30 minutes is not going to change your life. But what it's going to do, it's going to trigger something that hopefully throughout your day today, you'll be able to reflect on this time period to get over whatever hiccup or bump or whatever it is. Because some of the things I wrote down here it's I forgot the guy's name. Christian knows him, but he's a motivational speaker, but he basically says life is hard, nobody cares. And it's so true. Like when we become a victim and we start whining and complaining and doing this and doing that, and like Andy Frisilla, he says that, and it just in my mind, Wendy's sister came up to me yesterday because of Wendy's surgery and different things going on, my kids and everything. She's like, man, you're really working hard. And I said, like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, I don't know any other way to do it. Like there's no other options I have in my life. Like, what am I, sit around? Like I only know one speed. I'm sleeping or I'm full go. And the other thing that I liked, and Chad said here, the bottom is just your resting point. I really like that, especially for myself personally. I've been to the bottom. It wasn't a fun place. It's very dark there. But when you said that, it resonated with me because it was. I mean, when you get to the very, very, very bottom, whatever that might be, everybody has their own bottom. Some people never make it to the bottom, but there's different bottoms in everybody's life. But it is a spot. It's like, it's a resting point. And one of the books I would recommend you guys reading by Andy Andrews is called From the Bottom of the Pool. And at the bottom of the pool, what happens? I remember when I was a young kid, at the bottom of the pool, it's 8 feet. I remember there was a diving board, and it was just like, that was where you went. And it was like, all right, let's go to the bottom of the pool and sit on the bottom. And what was it? It was hard to sit down there. Why? Because it has the greatest pressure, and your ears would pop, and it might be a little bit colder down there, and it might be a little bit darker down there. But what happens at the bottom of the pool when you got done and you needed to get to the top? You took everything you can with your legs and you shot yourself up. And you can only do that when you're at the bottom of the pool. You can't do it halfway. There's nothing to push off of. And so I thought that that was really cool. And he said the bottom of the pool is your resting point, and it resonated with me. And the last thing, or one of the last things I'll leave with, is one of the favorite quotes I love is, don't judge a person by the decisions they made, because you don't know their choices they had. And I remember hearing that several months ago, and I don't judge anymore. And I really try I try very hard not to judge people. It's just part of our nature. But for the most part, like, because I'm like, I'll say to myself, like, I can't believe they did that. But then I'm like, well, I really don't know what the hell they had, like what other choices they had. So maybe, like, because when people don't understand me, they're like, Brock, why'd you do that? I'm like, you don't understand what I'm in. You don't understand my predicament that I was in, my marriage, losing my job financially. Like, do I foreclose on my house, or do I like get my cars repossessed? Well, I did both, but so like, both those things took place for me, but you don't understand the choices that I have to make. So diapers and kids were more important than foreclosure and cars repossessed. I got a brand new Denali. I stayed in a nice place now back. And so I was able to overcome the money problem, but I wasn't going to lose out my kids. And so never judge people because you don't know their choices that they have. And the thing I would tell people, I do it every day, Monday through Friday, and I'll strongly recommend it, and on this. Every hour, if you're around me, my clock goes off and it vibrates from 8 o'clock in the morning till 6 o'clock at night, Monday through Friday. Because you said this, Sandy. We don't reflect on ourselves as distractions and everything come out of it. We're busy worrying about everybody else. We're taking care of everybody else's problems. Do this, my kids this, whatever it might be. But at every hour, okay, it happens 9 times. All right, maybe it's 10. I can't remember. It's 9 or 10 times for 30 seconds. Sometimes I go for a walk, but I get to have a conversation with God. I get to reflect on whatever it is. Nobody knows. I mean, it even happens when I'm at lunches and doing different things. My phone will go off and I might just say, thank God for this opportunity I have today. Yes. Anyway, Sandy. So yeah, that's a pretty, like, I get to have that moment. I get to pour into myself just to be able to keep my gears going, because if my gears fall off, all bets are off. Right. So awesome job today, Sandy. I love what your message was today. And I know a lot of people out here enjoyed it. Definitely take a look at all the comments that people put out there. Thank you guys for being on here. Pat, Lori, Glenn, thank you guys. It is awesome to be able to celebrate this morning and each and every morning, and we're growing. It's pretty amazing. 30 to 40 of you each and every morning are with us. I mean, I say it many times. It was Mike and I at one point. Mike Kastner and I were just sitting here on the phone talking to each other, and it was about 10 minutes. And next thing you know, this is where we are. So God has an amazing way and a plan for all of us that are on here. And so blessed to be able to see you tomorrow. Guys, if you need any coaching, if you need anything, if you want to dive deeper with me or anybody that's part of our team and our leadership, check out bz3.com. Check out bz3enterprises.com. Chad and I are doing a credit card webinar next Wednesday at 11 o'clock. I'm doing a listing presentation in handling commission objections tomorrow at 11 o'clock. So a lot of opportunities coming in play. My coach is doing a webinar on January 24th at 2 o'clock. He's going to be coming on. So we have a lot of great things popping up and coming on. So I'm going to be on a podcast in Washington, D.C. this Friday. So just some really, really blessed opportunities. Guys, thank you so much. Sandy, you're awesome. You rock. Thank you all for being on here today. You guys have a great day, and we will talk to you guys tomorrow. Greg will be with us at 8:15. See ya.